Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, we're here to show you animations that will change your slashers from garbage to elite in NBA 2K23. Now, what I want to talk about first and foremost in today's video is going to be the three most important things to your build if you are a downhill slashing style or even just ISO in general. And you maybe have at least 80 driving layup or in some cases very minimal ball handle requirements as well. My three most favorite things are going to be the Zach LaVine layup package. We then have moving crossover, Lonzo Ball, and moving behind the back pro. These are the staples in my game. I literally run nothing but these anymore. I ran a couple different things in season 1 between the Donovan Mitchell crossover, and then I also had the Zach LaVine behind the back early on, but the pro is so downhill. It's so good at getting you to your spot. Not to mention all you need is 75 ball handle to even get this. Same with the Lonzo Ball crossover, it's only an 80 requirement, so it's plenty doable for any builds that are pretty much 6'10 and under. At 6'10 you can still get 80 ball handle plenty manageably. 6'9, obviously it's a pretty likely thing that you have this. However, if you are in some random weird situation where you only have 75 and you don't have 80, which is actually a little bit often, I would say, you could still run the Donovan Mitchell crossover. It's really good. But nonetheless, another one that I'm a big fan of is going to be the Rafer Alston signature size up. This is one that you can actually kind of just spam back and forth. It gives you really good size up combos into allowing you to speed boost in a really easy way. For me, slashing is all about literally just getting downhill, moving downhill as quick as you can, and still giving yourself the opportunity to flip your ball hand with those behind the backs or crossovers, or even for that matter, you could do that at the hoop. You could do it with the Zach LaVine layup package on the Euros, flipping your ball hand over to the right instead of the left, or vice versa, whatever the case may be. Its hops are still also very good, and its spins are plenty decent as well. I will also show you guys the dunk style in today's video too, for that matter. Hop jumper, I still run James Harden as well. It's still plenty contributing into my dribble package. This is going to be something that maybe pops up when you accidentally hold down on the stick to go for a dunk, as in like maybe with the dunk meter or something like that, or even if you just prefer to hold down on the stick for dunks in general. This will be something that can bail you out in some situations. Same with the Penny Hardaway spin jumper. If you try and do a spin lay and it ends up as a jump shot, these are just kind of bailout things for me. I will say they are still both plenty good if you have shooting on your build. I'm going to go into this video assuming most people that are watching this at least have something for a jump shot around like 80s and stuff like that, because you're generally probably just going to be a pretty big wingspan build. You probably have around 83 three-pointer if I had to guess the general consensus behind the people watching this video. But nonetheless, I'm here to talk about all this stuff and show you it and break it down for how and why to do them as well in the my court, so we'll get to that in just a second. But just a couple more animations to wrap things up. I am a big fan of the LeBron James pass style over LaMelo. LaMelo kind of trolls me a little bit, passing from paint to corner and stuff like that. I will say that's probably the main concern. This pass style is very good at passing downhill. If you're someone that does a lot of passes from like full court all the way down the court or from top of the key to the paint, stuff like that, you could definitely go with the LaMelo package. But I'm a big fan of LeBron. Also, had some people ask about my free throw animation in yesterday's video. I unfortunately didn't even show you that. I'm really sorry about that. But free throw 35 goes crazy. The video from yesterday, if you want to check it out, is pretty much in Pro-Am. I have 53 free throw rating on my build, and I still shoot 82%, and it came down to some clutch situations that I had to knock them down to. No clutch shooter or anything like that either, for that matter. But nonetheless, let's get into the dunk style creator. I have multiple different little loadouts that I have as far as testing things. I have one that's literally just designated for that. We have the efficient ones that have very mild dunks and stuff like that. But what I really run is this one right here that is just literally my updated dunks. So what I have in today's video for you is going to be quick drops off one. This is obviously the one you want to go for, but for that matter, front clutch is a very underrated addition to this. Now, the reason that is the case is because when you go into these signature dunks and go by all the name ones, I run Ben Simmons to get more standing dunks. As you can see, you need 65 standing dunk to get this package, and it really does go hard at giving you way more standing dunks unlocked. Now, on top of that, I run LeBron James. It gives really good tomahawks, really good flashy dunk animations, really good to just pair with a dunk meter, because generally if I get contact dunks, they look very tomahawkish, and I really do like just the kind of blending that it gives that and really gives you dunks that look similar to it. But problem with running these dunks is it's going to kind of stun your quick drops a little bit. When you hold up on your stick, it's generally not going to pop them off. You're going to get them Westbrook dunks, and if you don't run Westbrook, you'll get the Simmons dunks. So essentially, this is a big chain of putting animations on because of having to put Ben Simmons on for standing dunks. If you don't have to put this on and you're just a build that has like literally 45 standing dunk and nothing more than that, then good on you. Don't run Westbrook, don't run Simmons. You could still run LeBron though. I'm still a pretty big fan of it. Not to mention you could still get your quick drops even if you do run LeBron. But the whole point of me running this is that the Russell Westbrook cancels out the Ben Simmons dunks. And then on top of that too, for the really common situation that I do hold up on my stick, I generally get front clutches now, which is still a very good conservative dunk. Not to mention, if you are someone that runs this, if you flick up and then hold up on your stick, it'll activate flashy dunks for you. When you do that, front clutches actually work, and they activate one of these kind of like crazy side front clutches. This one right here that just popped up on the screen, it's this little kind of side front clutch, so to say. That is the one that's going to pop up on your flashy dunks, and it does give you the progress for more takeover when you do the flashy dunks. So front clutches are extremely convenient for that, because when you hold up on your stick for the conservative dunks, it's going to give you just the simple front clutches, simple as that. But when you flick up then hold up, it'll give you the extra takeover if you're just out on the break for free, or maybe you're playing with a pick and popper and you have a free dunk and you want to get more takeover. I highly recommend you guys try this. If I was a shooting build, I cannot believe how much I would eat off these free flashy dunks, because I see my boy AK come out here on pop, like playing with poppers at the big man and stuff like that on a 6'1" guard, and the quick drops are so free. I do understand that, but the front clutches add so much flavor to being able to get the flashy dunks to pop off when you want to, and it really does go hard for your takeover. Trust me, try it. I do also run uber athletic tomahawks off one. You need 90 dunk for this though. It's probably unlikely that a lot of people watching this are able to run this, or maybe you're someone that has 92, 93 dunk as well, and you are able to run this. I love these animations. It's kind of the same thing as LeBron, if you ask me. Some really elite animations off this. Just to give you a little bit of like a couple tips as well, if you're someone that's on a small guard and you can't run the LeBron James dunk because it's height capped, as you can see, you have to be at least 6'5", I would recommend the Clyde Drexler dunk. The only downside is this really slow, like legs back animation, but this tomahawk that you get out of it is unreal. So you might have to test it a little bit. You might have to give it a couple tries, see how often quick drops or front clutches can pop up for you still. But this tomahawk paired with gold limitless takeoff or something like that, it goes so hard. So I would at least give it its consideration and figure out how to trigger the dunk and stuff like that. But that's at least my consensus on this stuff. Other than that, pretty much as simple as just run any alley-oops you can run that aren't way too flashy, run any contact dunks you can run. That's pretty standard, pretty obvious. And then I run the two-hand reverse as far as like the windmill baseline. It's just what I run for the baseline dunk package. You could run the one hand, like the 1 foot baseline reverses off one. It's pretty basic though, and I'm not a huge fan of it. I just prefer the 2 foot windmills. Simple as that. Also, I would recommend put any standing dunk packages on you can. I gotta say the 70 goes so hard. Like the pro under basket, elite basket, and then like the 2-hand, 1-hand. All this stuff really just goes at a super high rate for the dunks. I will say I'm on a new build too that has 75 dunk. I will test out the Giannis. 75 dunk as in standing dunk is what I mean by that. I will test out this Giannis package, see if it gives any more standing dunks. It doesn't look like it though. It looks as if it's a little bit more of a driving dunk package. But nonetheless, that is all for the dunk style creator. Alright, so now for the dribble moves. We're going to go from top to bottom in my priority list as far as the ones that I find most convenient to put in your bag. Number 1 is going to be the pro behind the back. This is literally as simple as just move forward and flick your right stick down diagonal to the offhand. Simple as that. As you can see, gives some nice downhill movement. Doesn't burn any adrenaline for that matter either. Downhill dribble moves like the crossovers and behind the backs, they don't burn anything. So my dribble style is very limited. Like as far as like something I would do, it'd be stuff like this. And as you can see, very limited in burning adrenaline. The only thing it's going to is going to be those standstill signature size ups of that Rafer Alston. But it really does allow you, speaking of which, to move really good like laterally and downhill. I mean, as you can see, boom, like we're just kind of moving quick off it. I will say, to literally just do a stop and go is also pretty efficient. It doesn't matter what style you have or anything like that. You'd be able to just literally boom, go, and then boom, go again, and then boom, go again. Obviously, it burns adrenaline pretty extensively though, so just keep that in mind. But again, to come back to that pro behind the back, this is just something you can put in your bag. I'm telling you, like obviously it doesn't look like you can just spam it, but I'm telling you, it really does set up for contact dunks so good. People will see your ball hand, and what it's really good for, and I'll get into the half court real quick just to show you what it's so good for. Imagine there's a defender essentially at the elbow. You're able to just behind the back through him, and the point of it is when you're driving at them, directly at them, they're expecting that they're going to have to cut off your ball hand. That is generally what every defender is going to do against a slasher. If that defender is at that right elbow on the free throw line right there and I run directly at them, he's going to try and cut off the ball hand extremely hard. They're only going to maybe pick up on tendencies after like minutes of playing you. But again, you can just flip it off that and boom, you're just to the basket. No adrenaline burn, no nothing. Simple as that. Now, also, I have seen you guys ask about this right here, the walkback. This is so good off not burning any adrenaline, and doing stuff like this is obviously garbage. Like I really think it looks bad. You don't have any like means of attacking off it. What you can do to do this little escape that I do is do exactly that. Move your left stick backwards, but then tap LT while you do it, and boom, as you can see, you get that little pound dribble walk back. You're able to get some good escapes out of it. I'll show you real quick. I'm able to kind of sync them up, and then boom, you can go off that. Simple as that. it really does work. Not to mention you can pair it in with that behind the back. So for instance, what I like to do off that is maybe something like this, and then boom, go. Simple as that. Once you figure out how to sync those ball hands up, and you can kind of just watch the animations, for instance, try and get that right hand right there, boom, then you're sprinting out of it and going in that left hand. All right, so next up we have the Lonzo moving crossover. So what this does is sets up really good for that behind the back. Exactly. So for instance, you can do that and then move off it. It really does pair together and chain together really good. That time I did the behind the back a little bit too quick, so it cancels out and just does a default animation. But nonetheless, this works really good for getting you downhill, and it's just a great dribble move to do. If someone's maybe, say for instance, behind you, you can just flip your ball hand and move pretty quickly without burning any adrenaline, really any like stamina at all for that matter either. It's a really convenient move to do. It's probably not my #1 favorite. I would say what I probably do the most is, like I said, this little walk back here, and then probably the moving behind the back as well. Not to mention, I do like this snatchback quite a bit too. In my half court setting, I don't really mix in that crossover too much. It's generally going to be something between these walkbacks right here and then the behind the back. Then for instance, you could snatch back off it to cancel it into moving to that offhand to the opposite hand. So to do the snatchback, you literally just sprint toward the basket, and then boom, flick down on your right stick. It will switch it to your offhand every time. Just keep that in mind. So for instance, if I have the ball in the left hand and I do that snatchback, it's gonna put the ball in the right hand, and then boom, you can sprint off it. I will say it is a little bit of an adrenaline killer. I would only do it in situations that you really think you can get a bucket. It is really, really nasty though, I gotta say, especially if you're like, for instance, building up a little bit more downhill speed. So let's say I'm just doing the behind the back and then boom, you can do the snatchback off it and absolutely stomp on a dime and flip your ball hand while not doing it so vertically and moving downhill as much. I'm a big fan of it. All you need for that is the moving step back James Harden, and then like I said, we have the cross Lonzo Ball, the pro behind the back as well. We have the Rafer Alston for the signature size up spam. This is pretty simple. I can give you guys the rundown on this. All I do is I flick down diagonal. So all it is if it's in the left hand, down to the right. If I do it in the right hand, it's down to the left, and you can kind of spam that back and forth like this. If you do it a little bit more vertical on the like diagonal, as in like diagonal up, it's going to give some of these animations right here that you can spam back and forth as well. I don't find these to be super convenient though. I can't really dribble out of them quick enough. In my opinion, I like the down diagonal one, and boom, I can just go out of it just like that. And again, you might think, wow, such a botched way of dribbling, like someone could just play your left super hard. Well, keep in mind, stop and go is extremely OP. So if they play that offhand on that Rafer Alston like signature size up, I'm just sprinting to the basket on them. Simple as that. And the whole point of this is to flip your ball hand and build up speed in the other direction. Again, the stop and go you can't do to your offhand. You can't do it to the right in this situation. But what I can do is flick down diagonal and then boom, sprint off that. And if they played my offhand, boom, you can just stop and go. Simple as that. It's a very simplistic way of dribbling, but I'd like to think that it still is off reading defender mostly. Again, a lot of what I do is going to be reading that defender and trying to break them down, but fortunately a lot of my dribble style too requires no adrenaline boost. So I did show you guys the dunk style as well. As you can see, if I hold up on the right stick, it gives me that front clutch right there, and I'm a pretty big fan of the front clutches, to be honest with you. It's pretty good considering my dunk style. If you do it from a little bit closer, you can sometimes still get the quick drops to pop off. Unfortunately, when you're not just some quick dropping brain dead idiot who just comes out here and only does that stuff, you are going to be at the expense of maybe some animations like this not being quite as good. But as you can see, front clutches are not that bad, and the whole point of it is if you flick up on your right stick, you're going to get this flashy dunk to pop off, and it's going to be this front clutch animation every time. You can bet on that a lot. You can bet on the fact that it's going to give you way more takeover, and if you are someone who's playing with a popper and you're a like shooting build that has to be respected from the top, chase downs are really bad in this game. I really don't think you even need quick drops at like 100% rate or anything like that. And the takeover boost that you get off doing this dunk is so much better than to do quick drops. So I'm a big fan of just doing that up right there if you have a freebie dunk. And then obviously if you don't have a very freebie dunk and you want to just be a little bit more conservative with it, you can just hold up. Simple as that. And it'll still give you the more, I would say, in front of you front clutches. But either way, obviously all the dunks that we have are to make my dunk metering a little bit easier. As you can see, I have a lot of tomahawks, the uber athletic off ones, the LeBrons. Ben Simmons contributes to this a little bit. Russell Westbrook as well. All of these tomahawks are in this package to try and make it easier on myself to be able to get the dunks that look like contacts. I will say though, it is very hard to dunk the ball while talking. So if I do miss any in the commentary or anything like that, just keep that in mind. But either way, I'm still greening them. So the tomahawks, like I said, just look a lot more like contact dunks, and it makes it a little bit easier to understand the timing between that and contacts, if you ask me, when you get those tomahawks to flash off. So that's at least my personal opinion. If you don't like it, feel free to change it. It is what it is. And also, we should talk about the LeBron James dribble style and why I have that instead of the Michael Jordan. What I don't like about the Michael Jordan is, for instance, if you're just walking the ball up, it is so hard to get that ball in the certain hand that you want. Like with Michael Jordan here, I'll try and do it on purpose. Like, it'll do stuff like this without you even really trying to. It's just gonna flip your ball hand on some BS. I absolutely hate it for the sake of being a downhill dribbler. If you are just a half-court dribbler and a small point guard that's going very horizontal and stuff like that, it probably doesn't matter a whole lot to you. But I do like the fact that I can kind of just walk it up and then boom, hit that behind the back whenever I want to. Simple as that. So that's about it for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all that good stuff. And like always, try to 1 to 2,000 likes. Commit to the end of the video, put animation or put Annie in the comments. Show your support made all the way through. But anyway, I do appreciate you guys watching. Obviously, this is going to be pretty helpful to the people that play like me with the downhill dribble style, where you're not doing a whole lot of like side to side movement. I think this is going to correlate to a lot of the people who are known as rim runners though, rather than slashers. But to be fair, that's what the general consensus is of the community. I'm not here to hate on your style at all, to be honest with you, unless you do quick drops only. Then I'll hate on you a little bit. But anyway, like I said, if you're a little bit more of a downhill dribbler, this is probably going to help you a lot. I would like to think so. That behind the back is killer. The crossover really good in the full court. The snatchback really good. If they even have to respect your jump shot too. I mean, if they're really respecting your drive game more than anything and you hit that snatchback and you shoot off it, that's a killer move to have, bro. And then the Rafer Alston works really good for any style of dribblers, if you ask me. The dribble style could be a little bit debatable. I think if you're not someone who's like me and doesn't have any, like, if you're someone like me that doesn't have any shooting on your build, I prefer LeBron. Generally, I would probably advise to run Michael Jordan as your dribble style. Also, I didn't even mention it, but I have the Kobe triple threat style. I don't really care to talk about that too much, though. I don't do a whole lot of triple threat as I did in past years or anything like that. Generally, it's 2v2 that I do the most triple threat or anything. But anyway, that's all for the video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and take these, man. Peace.